Barack Hussein Obama. Please have several seats, sir, or whatever pronoun you prefer. You've already served your 2 terms, and apparently it's hard for you to come to terms with the fact that you are no longer relevant. But you are no longer relevant. You were the biggest hoax that the elites pulled on this country because we thought that by electing you as the first black president, although according to history, you are not the first black president of this country. But in our lifetime, we thought that by electing the first black president, that we were fulfilling the Martin Luther King, I have a dream, we shall overcome agenda, when we were actually undergoing a different agenda. You pushed your LGBTQIA LMNOP agenda across the globe. Okay. You won the Nobel Peace Prize after several wars were started under your administration. And before any of you blacks come on my page talking about how I'm a sellout because I'm not going along with someone that's similar to my skin tone, there was a leader in Africa by the name of Muammar Gaddafi that was working on behalf of Africa and that did a lot for the African people. And even reportedly offered $1 billion some years ago to the Nation of Islam to help Black people in our country, but our government would not allow them to receive the money because, of course, they don't give a damn about us. So this leader that did a lot for Black people and across the globe was assassinated under or during the Obama administration. Okay. Also, Obama was what's called the deporter in chief. He deported millions of illegal immigrants, although the media doesn't like to bring that up. They only like to dwell on Trump. And he reportedly was behind the cages that those kids were in. Okay. We also remember how he tried to penalize us if we didn't get medical insurance, although they were giving illegal immigrants free medical insurance. So y'all can miss me with this, oh, because you black, I need to think and be for you. No, skin folks does not mean kinfolk for the final time. And here recently, Obama was on videotape telling Democrats that they needed to get tougher. Okay, you tried to effeminize everything with your policy, sir. Do you want them to be tough or do you want them to be feminine? Make up your mind. And then told them to stop whining when you all were about to put a wino in office if you could have got away with it. Didn't even hold a primary, but was about to put a wino in office. So I would just say by now, Mr. Obama, you need to just go somewhere, please. Go somewhere over the rainbow.
That's
all right. Good morning, everybody. Peace of blessings. Shout out to A Righteous Perspective. That's where I got that content from, man. That sister was cooking. But yeah, man, peace of blessings, everybody. Happy Monday morning. Hope that you enjoyed your weekend. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we got to talk about it. And as the title says, my reaction to President Obama saying young boys need a relationship with a queer man. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And I just did a video. My last video was about Obama caught up in this fake hoax with the 2016 election. I'm not gonna go over that. If you didn't see that video, you could go back through the archive, the last one that I did, and view that. It was great content. I'm not saying it just because it's me. I'm just saying it's a good video for context. But yeah, now this new situation. First and foremost, man, people thought I was tripping, right? When I came out here, via social media back in 2015, and said that there was a homosexual agenda to attack the youth. Now, I don't have anything against people that are that way. But when you start to try to force your ideology on young people, any type of over-sexuality is wrong, but it's specifically you're trying to use homosexuality, you trying to weaponize that against the youth. I have a problem with that. It's an attack on strong alpha male energy in society. And I have been saying for a while, the Democratic Party specifically has been trying to target strong alpha male people in society, strong alpha male energy. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, you see one of the strongest, most visible leaders, such as Barack Obama, who was supposed to be the first black president, was really did more for the LGBTQ community than he did for the black community during this whole presidency. And I'm not totally against what he did as a president. I think some of the things that he did were good, but we have to be fair. He did everything in his power to help a specific community, and that was the LGBTQ community. Gay marriage, that was under Obama. You know, he legalized a lot of things for that community. And now for him to come out on his wife's platform, Michelle Obama, and say that a man, a young man, a young boy needs to have a relationship with a gay man is insanity. Like, at what point don't people see the obvious agenda? You know what I'm saying? But before we get into it, as usual, and as always, I have to go ahead and get this out the way, right? And then we gonna come right back, but let's do this. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting. Hold on. Where'd it go? That's in real time. Hold on. It was still playing. Hold on. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So we can stop that right there. Yeah, man. You know, I be really doing this, man, in real time. You know, it's be recorded, but it be pre-recorded, but it be in real time, man. So you gotta resonate with the realness, right? But yeah, man. It's so many different things that young boys I could think should be having relationships with certain individuals as role models, other than a gay man. I mean, like it's so much that we can point the finger to. But for context, let's get to it, man. And let's see what Jesse Waters got to say about this whole situation, man. It's crazy.
Democrats spent the last 2 decades calling men toxic and shipping their jobs overseas, and now they're asking, where did all the men go? Obama's trying to save the party he destroyed, so he's on a manhunt. But there's one problem. The brothers don't listen to him anymore, so he's trying to transition boys into girls. Barack's got his own rules for men, but these are the rules that made men leave the party in the first place. Barry says guys don't always have to be the providers, as long as they talk about their feelings.
A lot of male identity and status was tied up with being a provider, having a job, doing a good job, coming home. And when folks started losing jobs because of deindustrialization and offshoring, you had a bunch of men suddenly feeling lost because their identity had been so wrapped up in
one thing.
that one thing, which was being a provider. And so part of what we have to do is,
Mm-hmm.
as men, take responsibility for figuring out how to talk about and share feelings.
We wouldn't have to talk about our feelings if Obama didn't send our jobs to China. Do you know how we feel about that, by the way? Angry. That's why we voted Trump. But Barack doesn't just want you on the couch. He's telling guys to put down the baseball and pick up a playbill.
They have to be able to learn how to be more than just the sport that they care about.
Right.
And while they get great skills in sports and they learn a whole lot of traits,
Teamwork.
I think we owe it to our boys to be very deliberate about saying enough with sports and let's try some other things.
So sometimes it's just a matter of, saying to our boys, you being interested in art and you being interested in, theater, that's cool.
Get off the field and go to an art gallery. And when you do go, bring a gay friend.
I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly
Yes.
gay folks still weren't out of line.
Okay, this is why I need y'all to pay attention, because there's so much to dissect with this, what he's about to say. You cannot tell me that this man now that I understand the agenda, that this man was not planted in this position to push a certain, not just a certain, but a few agendas. This dude was very dangerous and diabolical. The concept of a first black president, quote unquote, came with a lot of identity politics that people resonated with on an emotional level. Even some white people, some people from all across the diaspora resonated with the idea of a well-spoken, well-articulated, quote-unquote, black man being the president of the United States. Fairness, nobility, what he seemingly to represent was easy to slide through. People are waking up, though. They finessed us with this dude. They finessed us. Let's keep it real. Now let's continue and listen to what he's saying and the agenda that I peeped over 10 years ago that came, and we see it now. Through his administration, those 8 years, he did more for the LGBTQ community, which that community I don't have nothing against, but I'm just saying, you're supposed to be the first black president. You ain't do nothing for foundational black Americans. First of all, you're not a foundational black American. Your father from Kenya, Africa, your mother is a white lady. Nothing about you is foundational black American. Let's be clear on that first, but let's continue. And listen to this carefully.
Who became one of my favorite professors. You need that
Well,
to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your...
So let's be clear what he's saying. Let's be clear. He just said, hold on. Former President Barack Obama just said young boys need to have a gay man to understand empathy. I could be a man, a straight man, a solid man, heterosexual man, and teach my son not to hate gay people, to be respectful of gay people. I don't have to be gay to teach my son or any other young man to be respectful of other people regardless of their sexual orientation. You do not need to be a homosexual to be able to be respectful of homosexuals. You understand what I'm saying? Why would I encourage a young boy to have a relationship with a gay man to teach him empathy, as if in this new generation, like they say, man, toxic masculinity, ain't nothing toxic about being masculine. That's a false narrative, a very dangerous one. You telling me being a man's man is toxic? Toxic masculinity. Is there such thing as toxic femininity? I'm just saying, you do not need to have a relationship with anybody that's homosexual to be empathetic to people. You know what I mean? But let's continue.
Your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see what Jesse Waters got to say.
You don't have to date your gay friend, but when you do date girls, Obama says you don't always have to pay. Make them pay.
We joke that, talking to Malia and Sasha, sometimes they go out with their friends and, you know, they're in a group and
all right, they offered to something else. I thought Jesse was going to dive in on that. But we get the gist of that, right? I could think of the state of young men right now. It's so many different types of men that I could think of that young boys should have a relationship with. How about young boys having a relationship with men that get up and go to work every day? Seeing a man, for a young boy, that I was blessed to have a father in the home, seeing my father get up in the middle of the crack of the middle of the night, getting dressed for work, going out there to go make money to feed our family. What about a man like that? What about a young boy seeing a man handle conflict with conflict resolution, being able to walk away from a woman instead of abuse them if the relationship don't work, right? What about having a man that will tell a young boy when you're going in the wrong direction? You shouldn't disrespect people. Always be polite. Have manners. Seeing a strong man that has a sense of awareness to be strong, but yet empathetic. They don't have to be gay to be empathetic. Are you serious? I'm just trying to understand, you know, where Barack Obama coming from. But see, I would allege that he has an agenda to perpetuate homosexuality, which I don't have a problem with people being whatever they want to be. It becomes a problem when that's your narrative that you're trying to pitch to the youth. How many young black men period, look up to Barack Obama and will take what he says as law? They use these people to perpetuate an agenda. And we saw with his presidency where he stood with everything. I could think of so many different types of men. Only thing a gay man could do is teach a young boy how to be gay. Is that what we own? We shouldn't want a man to teach a young boy anything about sexuality, be it male or female that you like. I don't want to force nothing on a child, a young boy. But I think that a positive male role model, a father in the home, is very necessary, if not even in the home, just in their life. So they can get that visual presence of a strong male. I like to champion myself as showing an example of a strong male figure to my son, even though I'm not in the same home with him. When I spend time with him, I implement that strong male figure. He sees me getting up, going to work every day. I don't have to be gay to teach my son empathy. You understand that? But this is dangerous rhetoric coming from the Democratic Party, and Barack Obama is definitely a leader of the Democratic Party, if not the most prominent leader of the Democratic Party, sitting up there telling you what he on. You feel me? Let's see what the five got to say about this situation. With Barack Obama.
Acted shocked when the fellas ghosted them at the ballot box. But now Barack Obama is trying to win them back. The former president went on his wife's podcast.
Hey, you see the white girl? She she said ghosted him, man. She sounded, Fox News trying to get hip with it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta rewind that back.
Democrats told men they're the problem, then acted shocked when the fellas ghosted them at the ballot box. But now Barack
when the fellas ghosted him, hey, Fox News, man, hey, they taking their time to resonate. Hey, black people, Fox News, they know you, they got your ear. This how you know they know black people are tuning in to Fox News more. Because look at the rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Look at the rhetoric. She using certain terminology, because they know we watching. Black people becoming more conservative in their thinking. Let's run that back one more time, man. It's funny.
Democrats told men they're the problem, then acted shocked when the fellas ghosted them at the ballot box. But now Barack Obama is trying to win them back. The former president went on his wife's podcast and he called out this mistake he thinks progressives have made.
We've made that mistake sometimes in terms of our rhetoric, where it's like we're constantly talking about, what's wrong with the boys instead of what's right with them. We rightly have tried to invest in girls to make sure that there's a level playing field and then they're not barred from opportunities. But we haven't been as willing, I think, to be intentional about investing in the boys.
But the hope and change savior wasn't done there. Obama quickly pivoted to Democrats' old ways of blaming men for being men.
While they get great skills in sports and they learn a whole lot of traits,
Teamwork.
it isn't music.
Sports was scaffolding for me to pull myself into manhood. But even as I was doing that, though, my mom was still dragging me to art museums, saying to our boys, you being interested in art and you being interested in, theater, that's cool.
Sandra, I find Barack Obama to be the most inauthentic narrator of what to do about boys and men. He was the best surrogate that Biden and Kamala had last time, and he was scolding and shaming and screaming at men, pull up your pants and vote for Kamala. Yeah. Get out there and do it. It's a party that doesn't know what women are. It's a party that doesn't realize that many of us who have boys, you and me included, sons, sure, you want to put them in sports, but their answer was to put the boys in women's sports. That was their answer.
You know,
They don't know what a woman is. And I think this starts early. I'm very curious to know what you think about this starting early, the feminization of our boys. Don't be a gladiator. Don't be a gentleman. Don't be so rough. Sit still. I think it starts there, not in politics.
I wouldn't have enough time and you know, the 60 seconds Greg will give me here. Just joking with you. I felt very uncomfortable listening to that conversation. I honestly did. I felt very uncomfortable. I had read the transcript and hadn't listened to it myself. And I think this is a big part of their identity crisis. They don't know who they are. They don't know what message they want to put out to boys and men. They don't know what message to put to girls and women. But listening to that, sports is sports, music is music, art is art. They are all wonderful things. And raising a boy, you can see this the most in the education system, especially the public education system in this country. They teach to girls. I mean, I truly believe that a lot of what we're doing now, you know, is we've adapted to, you know, progressing our girls more than our boys. And I think there's a lot of parents out there who hear me say that, who know exactly what I mean.
Yep. Jesse, you can speak as the brilliant anchor you are, or a father of a boy and 3 girls, or you can just talk about the Obamas. But I'm most curious, what did they think was going to happen when they run around saying, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, it's because you don't like women, you're not ready for a female candidate. And this whole thing about women's issues, which is a nonsense phrase. All issues are women's issues.
So this is why he booked himself on his wife's podcast, which real men don't do. But he ships all these jobs to China and then wonders why men are looking around like, what are we supposed to do now? So they're angry, they voted Trump. And then the next thing you know, they say we're waging a war on women and that men are toxic and the patriarchy is holding everybody down. And so the men just leave the party and they vote Trump. And now Obama's like, okay, how do I save this thing? And he goes, okay, how do I win guys back? By telling them not to play sports and take their gay friend to the theater? Now, there's nothing wrong with having a gay friend. I have a gay friend. He's Greg. But the theater's horrible. And I went to the theater the other day. It's the last time I go to the theater. It's just not something young men want to hear. They don't want to hear go to the theater. They want to hear, let's play sports. Let's play more sports and more sports. And if you have a kid that doesn't want to play sports and he likes the theater, fine. Okay. But most guys like sports. And for Barack Obama, who was all about the NCAA, he was playing golf with all guys. No women ever play golf with him. He was playing basketball with the Tar Heels. They let him in, played pickup with all his buddies. And now all of a sudden he's like, I'm a theater kid. It just, he's a boring guy. And the same thing that's happening to the rest of the Democratic Party, without all the lights, camera, action, and the teleprompter, you sit a guy down with his wife, and it's just a boring, nerdy conversation that no one can relate to.
Jessica, it was pretty boring, but what is your party going to do about winning men back? You're losing white men to Donald Trump by 20 points with a white guy as the VP. I don't think it's pilot programs and polls and $20 million in luxury hotel rooms. But what is it? It can't be this.
I think it's just being nice and supportive.
Of whom?
Of men, of everybody. If a kid wants to do sports.
What is a man?
Great. I am highly aware of what men and women are and how babies are made and all the things. So I'm good on that. I don't need the lesson. Just be nice to people. Don't talk down to people. It's pretty simple. And we have great examples, especially some of these Democratic governors to look to who are hugely popular. Andy Beshear, 66% approval in Ruby Red, Kentucky. Josh Shapiro, 61% approval, huge football fan. Wes Moore, 59% approval, can be found at Ravens tailgates, for instance. Remember when you saw that, Jesse, and you were like, who is that guy?
I liked him.
Yeah, he liked him. Jesse Waters likes Wes Moore. So I think it is time to start focusing on the examples that we have of people who are winning elections and winning approval from these key demographics and just move forward that way.
Sounds like Jessica's moving on from Barack Obama. Greg, I'm sure that seriously disappoints you.
Can we show a clip of that, of the podcast? I thought it was pretty interesting. You show? Yeah, check out that big mic.
That is a big.
Yeah. Look, I've never been surprised by anything Barack Obama ever says. There are a lot of people like him where the opinions are assigned and you can hear them from somewhere else, but everybody has to pretend that it's contemporary. When he talks about like everybody should have a gay friend, he's acting like it's like 2001. You know, it's like he's like he just watched a movie where the neighbor is a lovable gay person, and now it's like, oh my God, he's operating in a false America where people are still having vapors about people of different race or sexuality. Jesus, man, we had 1 day for vets and a whole month for pride. I think we got the message. Corporate America is bending over backwards to score virtue points over rainbow people. So I think maybe it's time to pull back from the whole thing about identity, because that's the thing that is getting you. Men aren't sensitive. We're not going to get our feelings hurt, but we will leave if we sense that you don't want us around. And what happened is all of a sudden the party noticed we weren't around. What happened to you? Now you want us back. All right. First of all, you amplified all men as predators during the Me Too movement. You said you couldn't be trusted around us. We were toxic. And
Hold fast. That man cooking right there. That man cooking right there. The Me Too movement. Let's talk about it. You weaponized the Me Too movement against alpha males in society. That was done by the Democratic Party. All Democratic judges, prosecutors started creating a narrative about certain celebrities that were alpha males. Used them being alpha males and created RICO charges off of it. And then you wonder why real men do not resonate with your political party. I'm just saying, why would I resonate with a political party that has demonized my masculinity? You understand? Just because I'm a man, that by nature I'm attracted to women. I don't hate people that disagree with that because they're homosexual. But I know me as a alpha male, I should not be demonized because I find women attractive. And if I'm single and I date different women, why would that be a bad thing? Where you would put somebody in jail and make them a damn criminal enterprise for sort of traveling with the band, i.e. R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein. Now, when you do things like that, and we know the Democrats are behind this, it ain't the Republican Party. Why would men resonate with that? We see what you're doing. And they use these celebrities as proxies and examples for the rest of society. Mark my words, if it was up to the Democratic Party, we would have average people that are like you and I that would be charged with RICO and racketeering charges for dating women. That's what they want to do eventually. They have criminalized masculinity. Forget demonized, they criminalized it. But this man cooking, Joe, he cooking with hot grease. Let him continue.
And then you pulled this switcheroo. And this is what really pissed us off, where you elevated ex-men as more righteous and deserving than actual women. So you went from condemning predators to protecting the very worst of them. How are you going to get us back after that? I have no idea.
Well, Barack Obama and I agree on this. He said he's glad he never raised a son.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to.
Yes, indeed, man. I love that. You know what I'm saying? That's great commentary, man, by them over there, the 5 on Fox News. In conclusion, right? We got to wrap this up, man. What we have seen is an all-out attack in society on real manhood, to the point where you're telling me that young boys, listen, I was a young boy at one point, and the last thing I needed was a relationship with a gay man. When I were in my destructive years, in my years of trying to figure out who I was and where I was going, and I say those years are anywhere between 16 to 23 years old. Those awkward years, when you trying to figure out your manhood and, you know, what direction in life you want to take, where you tend to make mistakes. You know, what would a gay man have done for me when I was caught up in the street life and trying to figure it all out? No. I had a father and I had other strong male figures in the streets that gave me the game. You know what I mean? It didn't have nothing to do with sexuality, if they were gay or not. If they were gay, I mean, what did that have to do with anything? Man that told me, listen, this is how you walk away from a woman that would trigger you to put hands on her. You go to work every day and you take care of your kids. You know, you be responsible, be cleanliness is godliness. Have a relationship with God. You know, try to be, I mean, we all flawed. I'm not perfect, but I'm very flawed. I understand that. But having a strong male figure to tell you, even though you're flawed, you still try to be the best man you could be. Blessed be the peacemaker, the word of God. You know what I'm saying? To understand that it's something greater than yourself. Those are the type of men young boys need in their life. Your sexuality shouldn't even come into the topic of conversation. Why would you need young boys exposed to homosexual men? For what reason? And Barack Obama said to have empathy. Like, real men don't have empathy. Like, heterosexual men are incapable of having empathy. I find that very disingenuous. But hey, what say you? It's your boy Jay Taylor. Voices for the voiceless. We love y'all. And until next time, we should speak to you soon. Peace and blessings.